Good morning, Year 5. So we're now on Thursday, which just seems to be going quicker every single day. So we're going to be doing another comprehension today, looking at Chapter 2. Now, obviously, we didn't finish reading it yesterday, so we're going to read the next couple of pages from this chapter, as it's quite a long chapter. Then after we've read those pages, I would like you to answer these questions on this first slide here. Now, there's the questions for you to answer again first, and they need to be answered in full sentences, just as we do when we are at school. And then number 8 is a chance for you to write your own question for either parent, guardian, sibling, and you can send it in for me and Miss P to have a look at as well. Let's get cracking on with the next part of the chapter. What's going to become of her when she grows up? She can't just live here indefinitely, can she? Felix took a watering can out of an icebox and calmly began to sprinkle fresh cold milk over Mildred, who was still happily soaking in her cereal bowl. "And what would you suggest, Agatha?" he said. "Well, I have some wonderful news, Felix. In fact, I have solved the problem." The feather in Aunt Agatha's hat wobbled as she drew herself up in her chair. "I have secured a place for Stella at a finishing school for young ladies." Felix set the watering can down. "But Stella already goes to school with the local children here, and I'm seeing to her education as well." Agatha pointed a finger at him. "You've been filling her head up with a lot of silly nonsense from the books. Stella needs to learn how to do useful things, like sew and embroider and wear a dress without ruining it in 5 seconds. Stella couldn't help glancing guiltily down at her party dress. She saw that Buster had pulled some of the threads loose with his claws when he had been on her lap earlier, and that the petticoat hem was looking rather bedraggled from trailing in the snow. It seemed Buster had drooled a little bit on the fabric too. Stella sighed. Pygmy T-Rexes were prone to drooling something terrible when there were fudge sticks around. "At a finishing school for young ladies, she will be taught how to sing and draw," Aunt Agatha went on. "She will be made to see that it is incorrect for a girl to gallop about on unicorns and pore over dusty old maps. Her posture will be corrected. The girls there spend an hour every day walking up and down with books on their heads." Felix gaped at her. "Do they really?" Aunt Agatha gave an emphatic nod. "Yes, indeed, 2 hours sometimes." "That time would be surely better spent reading the books. Surely." "It is quite a splendid establishment," Aunt Agatha said, pretending not to have heard him. "If Stella were to spend even 1 term there, you'll be amazed at the change in her, Felix. You really would." "I don't doubt that for a moment," Felix replied. "They'll show her how to do her hair in the latest fashion," Aunt Agatha said, warming to her theme. "And she'll be taught how to dance and apply powder and rouge and make herself attractive to gentlemen. Then, when she's older, a suitable marriage can be made for her, and she will be somebody else's responsibility. I've thought it all through, Felix, and this is the only way. I know you're fond of taking these snow orphans, but a girl is quite different to a polar bear. I mean, even you must realise that." Stella held her breath, her heart hammering in her chest. What if Felix agreed with Aunt Agatha? She was sure it would break her heart if he sent her away. Suddenly, she wished she hadn't been so grumpy with him last night. She said she'd have been a better daughter, and that she told him how much she loved him 50 times every single day. Felix turned away from the table, and Stella gasped as she realised he was walking over to the glass wall, right where she was hiding on the other side. She slunk down lower in the snow and tried to keep as still as possible while staring at Felix's boots, which had come to a stop right in front of her. "It's a fine plan, Agatha," she heard him say, making a thrill of dread run through her entire body. "But I'm not convinced that Stella would care much for embroidery." Stella risked a glance up through the pink marshmallows of the shrub and was startled to find Felix looking right at her. His mouth quirked upwards slightly in a half-smile, and he gave her a wink. "Besides which," he went on, scratching his cheek, Walking up and down with books balanced on one's head seems like the most dreadful waste of one's time. I know I'm no expert on womanly things, but there's got to be more to a young girl's life than singing and dancing, surely. They're not performing monkeys after all. Felix, I really must insist. These arrangements have all been made. Stella will start at the school tomorrow. My dear Agatha, I know you mean well, but you have no right to insist. In fact, you have no say in this matter at all. Stella will not start at this school tomorrow or ever. Felix turned around from the window. Thank you for coming, but I think in fact I shan't need you to look after Stella on this occasion. You can't mean that you're going to leave her here with the servants and these awful dinosaur things, Agatha said. She needs to be properly supervised. I will supervise her properly. She will come on the expedition with me. Stella gasped. Aunt Agatha's mouth gaped open. You can't take a girl on an expedition, Felix. It cannot be done. Why can't it be done? Felix asked at once. I'm sure a great number of extraordinary, incredible things have been achieved despite others saying that they cannot be done. Sometimes, maybe, even because of it. Girls can't be explorers, the very idea! Can you honestly imagine a woman tearing about the place with sleighs and compasses and getting stuck in avalanches and resorting to cannibalism? And goodness knows what else? No, no, no. It's all too dangerous, too much unseemly. First of all, I've been a polar bear explorer for 20 years, Felix said calmly, whilst ticking the points off on his fingers. And I have never yet been stuck in an avalanche. Secondly, we use sleds during expeditions, not sleighs. And thirdly, explorers haven't eaten each other for decades. Not for decades, Agatha. The field of exploration has come along in leaps and bounds. If 12-year-old boys can join the expedition, I see no reason why Stella should not. You can't be serious, Felix. This is too much. Even for you. You simply cannot be serious. I won't believe it. I try not to be serious, wherever possible, Agatha. But right now, I don't think I've ever been more serious in my whole life. I'm sorry you wasted your trip. Thank you for coming. Please do have some biscuits or marmalade or something before you go. You'll forgive me if I don't stay and chat longer. Stella and I have a rather lot of packing to do. And it's the best present Stella could have possibly asked for. Felix left Aunt Agatha fuming in the orangery, and Stella almost tripped over her petticoats as she raced around to meet him back inside the house. So as you can see, it's the independent reading emoji now. So I want you to read the rest of this chapter for me. I'm super excited from what we've just read. So let's see what happens as we read a little bit further.